Hello and welcome to East Alabama Mental Health Broadcast. I'm McConnell, your host. Today we have Miss Jean Spicer with us. How are you doing today, Miss Jean?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Well, we're going to jump right into it, and I'll let Miss Jean tell you guys what her title is here. She wears many hats, and how long you've been in mental health.
Okay. I'm Jean Spicer. I'm the Director of Family and Children's Services with East Alabama Mental Health. I've been in this field and with this agency for 31 years. There have been a lot of changes over the time, and it's been a joy to work in this field, really, and to see all the promise and all the hope and all the change that there is, and the great folks that we've had and that I've been privileged to work with over the years.
So 31 years. What's your favorite thing in those years that you've witnessed here?
I think my favorite thing about the mental health field in particular is that it's so broad, and there is so much need in our society, in our communities, and through prevention and through our clinical services, we're able to really kind of get a view of what the needs are, and then we can be creative in trying to identify ways to address those needs. So it's a very positive kind of work.
Yeah. Well, what would you say would be your most challenging thing that you've come across?
I think the most challenging is that there are so many needs. There are children who don't feel safe at home. There are children who don't feel safe at school. There are parents who are overburdened and worried and stressed about paying their electric bill and keeping heat on during the winter, having food for their children, particularly at this point in time. So the needs are huge. However, the offset of that is that we also have a community and a society that cares very much about our children and our citizens. And once the need becomes known, people rush to help in whatever way they can.
Yeah. So, well, the mental health field is definitely a calling. So what would you say has brought you to the mental health field in your life?
I think growing up, my family was always involved in working with populations that had needs through either church groups or through other kind of social service organizations. And so I think it started early, and I just enjoy children and working with people in general. So it just took me several phases to get here, but it's been good.
So currently today, what are you working on that you're really wanting to put out there to the community that you really want people to know about?
Well, what we have been working on a lot is the suicide prevention effort here in Lee County. Suicide is a significant concern in all of the communities that our mental health center serves across the state and across our country. And so I've been encouraged by the work that's been done by a collaborative interagency group of folks from our community who are working through the Children's Policy Council under Judge Fellow's guidance and leadership. And together we've been working really hard to put together some information for professionals who work with youth that are talking about suicide, considering suicide, or they're just concerned about their mental well-being, as well as for families and for youth themselves. So it's kind of our big effort. We've done some trainings on that. We had Question, Persuade, and Refer, a QPR training back in early February before everything kind of stopped. But I'm eager for us to get back to that, and there's a lot of work to be done in that field. Yeah,
and those trainings are for all people, not just mental health professionals.
Exactly. They really are designed for the community at large. So we're hoping to get that going and get some more once we can start doing some trainings again and have people close to each other, where we want to really increase that training, because it's really good information, and we all know people who we're concerned about. Our next door neighbor, the youth, a youth who goes to our church, our niece, our nephew, somebody, our parent, who might really be struggling with some mental health issues. So this is good information on how everybody can help.
And that it trains them to how to do it. So now it's time where we do our common fact or common myth segment. And today our statement is, it is dangerous to ask a person at risk for suicide if they are considering suicide. So this is a common thought of people in the community. So what do you think about this?
That actually is not true. In fact, people who have struggled with suicide often have reported that they have these thoughts running all around in their head, and it's a thought that's often with them. And just being able to verbalize that, or have somebody to discuss those feelings and those thoughts with, reduce the pressure a lot and their anxieties about that. So really it's something that folks should ask about. If they've got somebody who they're concerned about, they should say to them, are you considering hurting yourself? Have you thought of suicide? And take it from there.
And use that particular verbiage too.
Yes.
So it kind of destigmatizes suicide, where they can talk freely about it.
Right.
Yeah, I think the thought there is that people believe that they're going to put an idea in someone's head.
Right.
But that idea might already be in their head.
Right, and they really probably need to talk about it if it is there.
Right.
So finding a judgment-free person who they can discuss that with is great.
Yeah, well, that's good for everyone to know that's tuning in. And let's talk about what's going on today in the world. So right now we have COVID-19, where a lot of people are confined to their homes. And what do you think, with your expert intel on this, what do you think is going on with the people at home? How does suicide prevention relate to COVID-19?
Well, it's interesting in a situation like this. There are it can impact people in a variety of ways. People who are socially anxious, kids who don't like going to school because they're uncomfortable there, don't feel like they have friends, they're able to be home and isolated.
Yeah.
So for a small group of our society, it may not be an increased risk. However, for many people, it is the isolation that comes with that, the disruption in their regular routines, the anxiety about the illness and who might be carrying it, somebody that they know that may have it, certainly loss, if there's been any loss of life from somebody that they know. So for many people, I think it poses greater risk and some real mental health struggles.
And especially as the situation worsens, it can become worse for communities as well.
Right. I think as the virus spreads, as it goes longer and longer with a disruption in our regular routines, for a lot of people, their regular workplace or even a school for a child can be kind of a safe place or a protective factor, in that there are a lot of opportunities for connections there, and there are people who are kind of checking on them and that sort of thing. So,
and that might not be happening.
Might not be happening.
Right.
And then you add the financial stress on top of that. If the parents lost their job, their source of income for the family, stress is really at an all-time high, I think, for many people.
Well, what do you suggest for those people that might be struggling with the isolation, or if they feel very alone in all of this? What do you suggest for those people?
I think first of all, realize that you're not alone, that so many people are, our entire world really is dealing with this, and that people deal with it in different ways. So in whatever way you're choosing to cope is not necessarily a wrong way.
Right.
Be watchful for drinking too much, for using drugs to alleviate the stress or the anxiety, because that feeds into a greater problem. So just be very watchful of that. But maintain connections, reach out through the phone, send letters, do virtual things as much as you can, listen to music, FaceTime, just realizing that this is a temporary situation. It's not going to last forever, and eventually there will be those opportunities to connect with people again. So just hang in there and use it as a time to do some things that you've wanted to do, or just chill and relax and hang on.
Yes, exactly. I think that's perfect advice. Well, on a lighter note, it's that time in our segment, guys, where we have our 30-second hot seat with Miss Jean today. We're going to do our this or that game. Are you ready?
I don't No.
All right. Okay, so how this is going to go, we're going to have 30 seconds where I'm going to call rapid fire questions on 2 random things, and you're going to have to pick one, your favorite out of the 2. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and 30 seconds. Let's go. Warm weather or chilly weather?
Warm weather.
Okay. Beach vacation or mountain climbing?
Beach vacation.
Hip hop or classical music?
Classical music.
Dogs or cats?
Both.
Going out or staying in?
Going out.
Going out. Yes, we're all looking forward to that.
All right.
Literature or cinema?
Literature.
Phone call or texting?
Phone call.
City life or country life?
Country life.
Oh, that's our 30 seconds. I think we got a good amount in there. So if you tuned in today and you want to reach out and take part in some of our services, whether that's getting yourself educated on how to deal with people that you find that might be at risk for suicide, especially young people, we're going to give you guys some information a little bit later on. But we have our mental health first aid courses that will be available after COVID-19 restrictions are lifted. And that is for people of all backgrounds to recognize young people at risk for suicide. And we'll give you our email at the end, but it'll be my email, bailey.mcconnell@eamhc.org. And Miss Jean, she has some more information for you guys for her services.
Great. If you're interested in prevention services through East Alabama Mental Health, you can reach the prevention department at 334-742-2112. If you're interested in clinical services for someone that you know or for yourself, you can call 334-742-2877. Also, there are a wide variety of professional counselors in the area. Many people talk with their faith leaders. I think the important thing is that if you're feeling stressed and burdened and alone, reach out to somebody because there are a lot of people around who have services that can help or can lend an ear.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Miss Jean. And we'll catch you guys next time.